Thank you, Tommy. It's Faith Time, our weekly conversation on matters of faith. Joining us this morning is Chelsea Middleton. She's the marketing director at Loxley Church. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Chad. Thanks for having me this morning.
We are going to be talking about an event that your church has coming up this Wednesday. It's called Fight for Your Family. What is it?
Yes, Chad. This event is Wednesday at 6:30. It's basically a night of worship. We're having a sermon from Pastor Kevin Moore at Church of Visalia in California, and we'll have the JJ Weeks Band doing some awesome worship for us.
All right, and tell us about why you wanted to have a night focused on family matters.
Well, the world that we live in now is really busy, especially this time of year as we're getting into the holiday season, and we really wanted to focus our efforts in not just adding something to the calendar, but really investing in the families in our community. So we decided that a night of worship and a sermon from a pastor who's well-versed in family issues would be a great way to pour into the families of our community.
For people that aren't familiar with this pastor, what do you expect him to be talking about on Wednesday evening?
He has 20 years in youth ministry, and he's now working with planting churches and coaching other pastors and doing community events like this. So we're anticipating a message that'll really speak to families on how to fight for their families in the world that we live in now, and just how to work hard to keep it together.
When you say the term fight for your family, I get into that a little bit. What does that mean in this sense? Because sometimes when we think of family, we can take them for granted. They're a family. They're not going to leave us, but there is work involved in having a family and being a part of a family.
Definitely, and we see the trend of divorce rates going up and families just things not working out, and fighting for your family is realizing that loving each other is work and keeping your family together is a worthwhile investment, and we hope that this event will give family the resources and tools that they need to do that.
When you talk about family in the church context, how do you hope that a service like this will help strengthen families or remind people to keep their families in mind?
We hope that this will be quality time that families can take to spend together. They can take time out of their busy day to sit together, listen to a sermon, enjoy the worship, and then we hope that the tools that we give them when they leave will help them to have conversations together, spend more time together, and really focus on their relationships with each other.
What do you think is the most important thing that you want people to come away with this Wednesday night?
Definitely the worthwhile investment of their family, that there's a church in Loxley that they're welcome to. We love families, and that being in church is one of the #1 ways to really pour into your family and invest in those relationships.
And talk to me about how you guys came up with this idea. Where did the germ of this idea come from?
We actually started planning this in the spring. Pastor Ori, our interim pastor and youth pastor, was the one that really kind of head started it. We know that around this time of year there are a lot of events going on and a lot of trunk or treats and things like that, and we could have invested our efforts in that way, but we wanted to do something different, like I said, and really invest in families in a different way.
It's great that you bring that up, because we started this series around Advent last year, and one of the things that you get into this time of year, we're getting close, like you said, to the holidays. How do the holidays, even though sometimes they are primarily religious focused, how can they draw us away from the church sometimes?
Just the busyness. It's just like any other time of year. In addition to the holidays, you have sports going on, you have schools in full swing. Families become more focused on these events and just getting from point A to point B. The gifts, the parties, everything like that, you don't really take time to stop and really appreciate what the season's really about. Also,
we should add that there's childcare available
yes.
For this service this evening. How many people are you expecting to come to this?
We're planning for around 300, but we're ready for whoever wants to come.
And again, we should add, it's open to the community. It's not just for members of your church or congregation.
Correct. Yeah, open to the community, free event. It's going to be a blast.
All right, we want to put up one more plug here for this event. This, again, will be this Wednesday evening. The doors open at 5:45 this Wednesday. The event lasting roughly from 6:30 to 8:45. Chelsea Middleton with Loxley Church. That is the church on Highway 59. Thank you so very much for joining us for this edition of Faith Time and News 5 this morning. We'll continue after the break.